I want us to establish, okay, we have this issue.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk like problem solvers.
Yes.
We have this issue of
rather than bringing
drug
women,
abuse and substance. Let's leave this
stereotyping
gender.
women. Leave the gender.
Yes,
let's
let's drop the gender out.
Yes.
No. Let's talk. I want us to have an understanding here.
Yes.
For us to learn.
Yes.
And for everybody that is watching to learn. That, okay, we have this issue. How did this issue start? What can be done? Like, okay, what are the effects of some of these things? Do you understand?
Yes.
Let's not dilly-dally. Let's not go back and forth about men or women. At the end of the day, we are all humans, and how it affects you. That was
why I made mention of the role of the government in this. You understand my point? The government has, whether we like it or not, in our life, in our daily life, government
control most of everything that happens around us.
80% of the happenings around us. Yes. You understand? Mm-hmm. That was why I made mention of the government in this. You understand? You know why I don't really want to blame the government on this? Let me learn. Let me just tell you something. Let me just a family. They say a good society begins from the family. Yes. Mm-hmm. Recently there was something that happened in Zawan. I think up to 3 weeks. Sorry, Plateau State here. Do you know that
local government? Wait now, listen, Mesh.
In the family.
No, see, the government.
That's why the first question I asked is what brought about the use or the abuse of that.
That's what I want us to establish.
The government is peer pressure. The government is the high place there.
Mm-hmm. You understand?
So why not we in the community start? Like what happened there in Josa local government of Plateau State? These women came out on their own. They cried first from their homes. They went to meet the village head. From there, the village head led them to the security agent in the village. From there, the security agent led them to the arm of government. And then so many drugs, illicit drugs and fake alcoholic drinks were destroyed.
Okay.
So if we can start,
you understand?
You
get my point.
Instead of blaming the government, let's come down to ourselves and see how we can.
No, I want to.
Let me tell you something. Okay. You said we are talking about the roots of the problem.
Yes.
I made mention of what? First of all,
peer pressure.
Peer pressure. Your parents might train you perfectly well, excellently. We have seen strong men of God, you understand, that their children are addicts.
Yeah.
You understand? So will you say that the parents fail in parenting?
We're not saying the parents fail.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The first place you get to learn about drugs is peer pressure. Okay. You understand?
When your
the kind of association, you understand? And then your environment, again, is another factor. Your environment is another. If you grew up in a hostile environment whereby these things are very, very common, there is a strong tendency for you to be a victim of something.
Yes.
You get my point? Mm-hmm. Why I am blaming the government in matters like this is let me tell you people something. I will say it as raw as it is. You see this drug abuse.
Yes.
We cannot fight it. See, it has come to stay.
Yep.
It has come to stay whether we like it or not.
We can fight it.
That is why
I disagree with you. I say we can't fight it. We can fight it.
We can fight it. I didn't say we can't fight it.
You said it is how we can't fight it.
Once we control the usage, we control the supply.
Do you understand? Now, I said it has come to stay.
Okay.
We can't fight the fact that it has come to stay.
Okay.
That is what I meant. Sorry.
Okay.
But then we can fight to reduce it to the barest minimum.
And how do we start that?
And we can fight
that's
to save a soul. You get my point? And then the major work bounce back to the government. You get my point? And then our society, that just as you have said.
The major
bounce down to us.
Let me give you an instance. Let me give you an instance on Plateau State.
I don't think it really boils down to the community. Okay, let me talk about us.
Let me give you an instance about this government thing.
I will skip this thing.
No, don't skip it.
There are a lot of
something about this
don't skip it. Are you in my head?
No. Something about this government.
There are a lot of people that fell victims of drug abuse. You understand? Unwillingly. You say it still bounce back to us. You understand?
Yes,
there are vulnerable people, whether we like it or not. Yes.
How? They took drugs unwillingly.
Let me tell you, people, peer pressure. I see it as
they cook food and give you all this stuff.
Like, there are some people in a circle of friends. In a circle of friends, you understand? There is always somebody who is being
the alpha.
You understand?
No, if you want to be.
Let me tell you,
some people
there are people that have low self-esteem.
Command authority.
See, there are people that have low
people when you see them, yeah,
you understand?
You just know that this person.
If you want to be,
okay,
you can live. See, there are people
there are people that have low self-esteem now.
Sorry, we are.
But they don't force the substances into your mouth.
No, they don't force the government.
I trying to tell them that you can't defeat the fact that
don't we have good people that came out from Sudu
because of their low self-esteem.
We have
those
a lot
people that are like the alpha
from that area,
from every area. From those jungles of those areas,
don't have people that have come out. You get my point?
Yeah.
They are being influenced.
Guys,
you understand the point?
Yes, please, but whenever, sorry, let me just give him whenever we look at the government for every resolution, then we're not going anywhere. For instance, sanitation. Do you know somebody will sit in his house, will not clean his environment. He's waiting for the government to fix a date.
No.
Yes.
No, it happens. You're
not getting the point. I establish a point.
I want to establish this government.
You are picking it from another side.
We bring it up and then the government supports us.
From another side. You understand?
I don't believe that.
The government should
support. I don't agree with you. Let me explain something.
We need their support.
Wait, let me explain something.
I made mention of it.
You see government.
Yes.
She said that society we can when we reduce.
When you reduce the usage,
yes, we reduce the supply.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, yeah? We as members of our community, we have no control over what enters our country and what leaves.
Yes.
We don't control our import. That's why we have
only the government that
when they bring something in and then you don't actually stop bringing it in.
See, let me explain something to you. Our government.
Cannabis is produced legally.
No,
it's not only. We are not talking about cannabis
now.
Alone here.
Yeah, good.
We're not talking about cannabis.
We are not talking about cannabis alone. But I want to use cannabis as an example.
Wait, not just cannabis. Yeah. See, you guys are saying we should not blame the government.
I'm not saying we should not blame the government.
I'm telling you, the
government should do the work.
No,
they play a pivotal role in whatsoever that happens.
Okay, just the scenario I gave you of Jos South.
Yes.
Those women now, if you, I'm sure vividly now, this is not up to a month. If you go to Jos South now, you will hardly find these drugs now for sale there. Why? Because the women cried out. And then after crying, that's why
it's just it's a locality in that entire local government.
Wait, if we can pick up from those locales and then pick it up, what do you think will happen?
See, let me tell you something. Wait, I want to establish this.
What happens in Jos South might not be applicable to Jos North. Just remember, you understand?
Go to you can go to Ekpe local government.
You get the point.
Now let me explain something to you about the government. Yeah, the government already knows that this thing is killing our people. Yeah, that's why I for one love the United States. Do you understand? When they were fighting Pablo Escobar that year, it was a serious thing to them because they knew how it affects their citizens. I feel like our government don't really care to some extent.
They don't
when
care.
You're talking about sanitation, when you're talking about sanitation, in some countries, when you drop something on the floor, there are serious fines. Our government don't really care. Do you understand? So it makes people like
they are very weak on the rule of law. That's my point.
That's the issue.
If you as a person decide not to drop that, you decide to drop it.
I don't abuse drugs because as a person, I feel like this is something that
we can actually start on our own. We don't have to wait for our government.
No, I'm not saying wait for them.
But the government to not drop, when the government the ground, you can be responsible not
when the government stops the imports here, a lot of things stop.
Do you know that it was this very same Nigeria that one of the former governors, I don't know if he's still serving, of Ondo, Ogun State, wrote to me, Akeredolu. You understand? That's his name. I've forgotten the state, but that's his name.
But actually, I think we should really work on ourselves.
Do you know that
seriously?
Yes. He was
let's work
pressing
on
the former president.
From there we can start.
Buhari. He was pressing him to give them license to be producing cannabis in their state. He gave them the economic value of cannabis.
Government has contributed a lot when it comes to drug abuse in a negative aspect, because when you yourself, you are the one that is even helping and sponsoring people to produce those drugs, it's a problem in the country. Even when we talk about infrastructures or rehabilitation centers being enacted, nothing is done in that area. If you go to the hospitals, you have issues on beds. Why should you have issues on beds in a hospital? It doesn't make any sense. So I clearly don't just see how the government is helping when it comes to drug abuse.